Keto and Krime, Keto and Krime. We uncover the grime on Keto and Krime. Keto and Krime, Keto and Krime. Now is the time for Keto and Krime.
Hey everyone, Tracy here from Keto and Krime. Thank you so much to every single one of my patrons and channel members. You make this possible. And you're one of the reasons I do this. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And if I haven't said it before, thank you. I'll sing it. Thank you. Thank you for hanging in there with me and letting me geek out, not making fun of me like a lot of other people do, because I like weird stuff about crime and dark history. Thanks everyone. Hey everyone, I'm triggered. And you know what happens when I get triggered? I react to it. So this is a reaction to, I missed the bandwagon on this, I guess when this was going around about 4 months ago. It's a Dr. Phill episode entitled, Has the Body Positivity Movement Gone Too Far? And if you know there's any movement that I will attack with as much vitriol as I can, it's the fat acceptance movement. And I don't mean body positivity and what it was originally intended for. That is, people that were born with things that they cannot help, or they were disabled, through accidents or something like that. That's not the body positivity movement I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fat acceptance movement, which has hijacked the body positivity movement. And so I also happen to notice that the primary guest on this show, I don't know why I'm quoting that because she actually is a guest, on this show is a young lady from right here in my neck of the woods that I know from the stand-up comedian circles here. And she's gone on to achieve much success as a plus-size model and a plus-size influencer, fat acceptance influencer. And I've gone on, even though I still do comedy, I have gone on to achieve much more success as a YouTube personality. So we kind of have that in common. However, I think when it comes to this, she's wrong. And I'm going to react. So let's dive into this very, very interesting Dr. Phill episode, shall we?
Positivity movement gone too far based on science. If you're overweight, you're at risk for diseases.
I disagree with you.
So you disagree with the science. Would you disagree with the science about the COVID vaccine? You accepted that science, and there's when it comes to the amount of data for COVID vaccine versus the dangers of obesity, the amount of information on the dangers of obesity is right up here. The amount of research we have on the COVID vaccine in reference is down here. But you accept that science. Why won't you accept this science? And this is much older and much more well documented. Just say it. And I know the elephant in the room, I'm fat myself. I am fat. I have recently lost about 110 pounds with another 70 to go. And and I completely accept that. I have battled my weight my whole life. But I also know that it is something that I need to battle. I can't give into it and just accept myself, except to accept that I am a worthy person, but still know that I need to change. That is my whole thing with this, because they're not just pushing, you should accept yourself and love yourself and have dignity and all that. They're actually trying to push the narrative that fat is not unhealthy and that it's actually healthy in some ways. That's my big problem with it.
Are more likely to survive heart attacks. So many doctors.
No, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not. Where the hell did you get that statistic? Did you pull that right out of your butt?
Doctors are middle-aged white men. And
what? So it's patriarchy? That's what you're going with? You are almost as big as you are almost as wide as you are tall. And patriarchy is what you're going with?
Body is different.
Thank you.
Yeah. Everybody's body is different when it comes to composition, but we are all the same at a molecular level and a biological function level.
For calling me middle-aged.
I've struggled with my weight and my body image my entire life. Kids bullied me for my weight, but I always shrugged it off thinking, oh, well, they're just like mean kids. When I was 10, my friend's mom told me, Lexi, with those blue eyes and that beautiful singing voice, if you just lost the weight, you could take over the world. So it was particularly soul-crushing to learn that adults were thinking negatively about my body also.
Because adults understood the danger that you were in. The adults in my family told me the same thing, that you have such a pretty face and you're so talented, but that weight's going to hold you back. And both health-wise and in society, it is going to hold you back. People look at us differently, and they should, because we are different. I don't blame somebody when I step on an airplane if they look at me like, oh God, is she going to be sitting in my lap? Because I don't want anybody sitting in my lap. That's the reason when I do travel, I buy 2 seats most of the time, because I don't want that to happen. And so we are different, and we cannot function in society the same as someone that's of a normal weight.
My journey to accepting myself was gradual. I've really made peace with my body. I started creating content for Instagram about 4 years ago to document my own self-acceptance and body confidence journey. One of the most common troll comments I receive is that I'm promoting obesity. So many people seem to feel entitled to a fat person's personal business and are quick to judge them. When people are berating me online and telling me I'm gonna die by the time I'm 30, it is not inspiring.
No, not by the time you're 30, but you could have serious health complications by the time you're in your 50s, and you could potentially die by age 60. More if you have some underlying medical markers that we're not aware of or that you're not aware of. That's the reason I finally, after years of going up and down, I've been thin in my life for about half my life, and I've been obese for about half my life. And I am determined now, in the twilight of my life, will be 48 years old in April. I'm going to live the rest of my life under 200 pounds. When I get there, I will fight tooth and nail to stay there, because I want to live and love and suck as much out of this life as I possibly can before I shuffle off this mortal coil.
Will and I are soulmates. He is the love of my life.
I think body positivity is good, but people online...
Notice how he's also overweight, and I'll just leave it at that. Notice how he's also a bit overweight, and he is not telling her the truth, that we both need to get healthy together, which is exactly what my wife told me and what I would tell my wife if the roles had been reversed. We need to get healthy together. That's being supportive, is accepting each other for what you are, but also encouraging each other to improve yourself. That's what a soulmate does. Not just, oh, whatever, it's okay, no, whatever.
Lexi, just because she's fat, it's painful to watch. I respect her tenacity.
I don't agree that those comments are necessarily a bad thing. Hopefully they will make her wake up and realize that she does need to do some changing, but you are putting yourself out there as an internet personality. And so you're inviting people into your life and inviting criticism. And, I have to man up and put on a thick skin here on YouTube, because I get very cruel comments. And you know what? You got to let them roll right off your back like a duck. But I'm putting myself out there. She's putting herself out there. Criticism is going to come. Internet is not a safe space.
Her vigor through it all.
I hope that people can just see me loving myself the way that I am and feel inspired to love themselves the same way.
What's your definition of body positivity?
My definition of body positivity is pretty simple. It's self-acceptance, radical self-acceptance, regardless of whether you're as healthy as you'd like to be, or whether you love how you look, or maybe sometimes you don't. It's the belief that no matter how you feel in that moment, you know that you are deserving of good things and respect and dignity.
Okay, how many of you, just by a show of hands, would support what she's just saying with her definition? Okay, how many of you would say, I got a problem with that? Okay, a couple of wafflers. Okay, I'm raising my hand because I got a problem with that.
Go, Dr. Phill.
Pretty much the same way?
I would say so, yeah.
Okay, then I got a problem with both of you two. So you're in trouble.
We can work it out,
Yeah,
I think.
I bet. Now, here's my problem. See, I think in this society, I think we have always confused body image with self-image. I think they vary together and should not. If we have a good body image, our self-image goes up. We have a poor body image, then our self-image tends to go down.
I'm going to say exactly the opposite of that. I think that often your body image is a reflection of your self-image. When I go through bouts of depression, I gain weight. I get sloppy. I get somewhat unhygienic in some ways. I battled that. I've seen that with friends and family. And I think often when you have some darkness in your life, your body image tends to go that way. So I think there's really no way to separate that. When you improve your mindset and when you improve your outlook, you want to improve yourself, and that includes your body image. Let me know what you think down below.
Agree?
I agree that how you view your body shouldn't be the only thing that makes you feel good about yourself. That's what I think body positivity helps with. If you start to change how you see yourself, if you start to approach your body image with a sense of compassion and tenderness, then you start to see yourself in a more gentle light rather than.
Absolutely. You should be able to forgive yourself and accept yourself as you are in the moment, but always be striving to improve. And that is what you're lacking.
Like a harsh criticism. And so when you are feeling negatively about your body, instead of it making you feel negatively about yourself altogether, you can say, I feel negatively about my body today, but I'm going to show myself kindness and compassion. And I'm just going to say, you're doing your best and tomorrow's a new day. And then that way you kind of lift up your entire self-image.
See, you're contradicting yourself then. You're saying, I don't like my body image, I'm just accepting it, and I'll do better tomorrow. And I don't, see, to me, this body positivity says we're not going to focus on body image, we're going to focus on the person inside, but it seems to be totally focusing on body image.
It is. If you go on TikTok and use the hashtag fat acceptance, body positivity, all you're going to see is obese people shaming other people for not accepting them as they are, not wanting to date them, not wanting to hang out with them, criticizing them. It's all about my body is beautiful and you should desire it. Not everybody feels that way. It's all about trying to force their perception of their beauty. I'm going to use a word they use a lot, beauty standard. They're trying to enforce their beauty standard on everyone else. And I'm not there for that.
I think most of the critics about this focus on the fact that by seeming to celebrate the body, not your worth, not your value, but to celebrate the body, you're ignoring the health risks.
The whole point of fat acceptance, body positivity, body neutrality even, is destigmatizing the fat phobic, toxic diet culture, beauty standards.
See, there it is, beauty standards. Do you know why, in general, most people are not attracted to overweight people? Because we are biologically and evolutionary hardwired to seek out mates that are healthy and can produce healthy offspring. That's why we are hardwired. You see the same thing in the animal kingdom, in the rest of the animal kingdom. It's absolutely, we're hardwired that way. There is just a perception that if you can't control your body weight, there's many other things you can't control. And in a lot of ways, that's absolutely true. It's one factor that you can't control. And it should, and I know there's all kinds of debate about, processed foods, and yes, all of that, and pharma, and all of that has contributed to our uptick in weight. It's also convenience and the fact we are so prosperous. But that aside, you should still be able to control what goes into your mouth. Unless you have a health problem, you should be able to control what goes inside your mouth, and it shows that you can't control yourself. And it's the exact same way, and that's the reason I think overweight people have a hard time getting jobs. They have a harder time. I had an agent. I have a hard time booking roles because unless they're looking for a fat person, I'm not going to get it. And so it all boils down to they think there's something amiss. There's something that you fall short on, and it's personified in your body.
All of these expectations that are put onto people to look a certain way or to avoid looking a certain way. It's destigmatizing having a specific body image, destigmatizing fatness, and it's putting an individual's personal experience and their personal journey to the forefront.
At 20 years old, I was at my heaviest weight of 360 pounds. I was really afraid that I was going to, die really, really soon. I decided that I wanted to change my life. I have lost about 180 pounds.
And this young man is obese to beast. He's also here on YouTube. He is a great guy. He's lost somewhere between 140 and 180 pounds over his lifetime. He does try to help other people lose weight. He's been the target of a lot of fat acceptance mobs. I think he's a genuinely nice guy, but my one problem with him being kind of the countermeasure here is that he's too nice. He really is too nice. They need somebody that's going to tell her the truth and be a little more sour with it. Get Alan Roberts on here, get Michelle McDaniel on here, get 𝗟𝗏 on here, get Jillian Michaels on there, Bob Harper, somebody that will tell them the truth in a way that, because the way you'll see him kind of dance around what's going on, I mean, he's nice and he's sort of encouraging, but kind of not really, and you see 𝗥𝗍𝗃 kind of nod along with him, so maybe they've talked before, maybe she knows who he is. And he's kind of sugarcoating everything for her and making it a lot easier for her just to nod her head and then disregard. However, if there was somebody on there that really put it to her and really tried to engage her in debate, it might, because she's going to block those people on Instagram or TikTok. But in a room like that, she's going to have to talk with them and maybe something will get through. That's my only criticism.
Able to keep that weight off for about 10 years now. I actually started to document my journey on Instagram as well as YouTube.
I want to make it very clear.
It was rough. I also don't believe that losing weight is obviously a bad thing and that you should be shunned for it or made fun of, or in my case, I'm called fat phobic because I've lost weight. I've been called an ex-fat because I've lost weight. I have had a lot of people.
Yeah, we're all kind of ex-fats after you lose weight. I'm still a current fat, but soon I hope to be an ex-fat. So, wear that badge with honor, my man.
I advocate for others that want to lose weight. Ideal beauty standard, no. I am here to say, if you do want to lose weight, I believe in you. I believe you can do it. It is very hard, but it's worthwhile, and me losing the weight has been one of the best things I've ever done in my entire life.
180 pounds.
That's a whole other person.
Yeah.
Right? And so, do you consider yourself healthier?
Yeah, I would consider myself healthier, yeah.
There are people that have done what you've done, lost weight. There are celebrities that have done it, Adele, Rebel Wilson, Jonah Hill, that get criticized for losing weight. And you've had people. And
that's absolutely true. People that are weight loss influencers that have gone through that battle, they get a lot of hate from this community because they say they're turning on you. You're turning on us. You should stay fat because fat is beautiful and fat is healthy. And that's a lot of problem with this whole movement.
People say traitor.
Yeah.
And it's neither healthy nor beautiful.
You've quit on them, right?
With weight loss, I think a lot of people see it as, like they were talking about, some sort of moral success, right? Which, And I can understand how you guys feel, being just feeling like because you're fat, you have people that are attacking you regardless of what you believe, regardless. I get it. I was there. I know what it's like. And so I think you guys are doing a great job, by the way. But I have dealt with that. I have dealt with people upset with me, upset with my name on Instagram, 𝗿𝗵𝗍. And it's frustrating because at the end of the day, what I care about and what I preach is I want people to be happy and I want people to be healthy. And if someone wants to lose weight, if someone wants to go down that path, I think they should be hopefully do it in a healthy way, but they should have ways to do that and not be made to feel bad about wanting to do that. Because for me, it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. It completely changed my life. And I want people to have that option and feel supported when they are going down that road.
See how she's kind of nodding her head, oh, yeah. Yeah, we should just be accepted. Yeah, we can lose weight if we want to, but most of all, we should just be accepted. See, he's just a little too nice, I think. She really needs to be confronted.
Data is really what matters. And I run lab tests on my clients, so everybody does blood tests, I do stool testing, and fat is an organ, and it influences inflammation, it influences your hormones, and it puts stress on your organs, and eventually those organs begin to fail. And I've seen that over and over on lab testing, and so it's something that we have data to prove. Also, being obese.
Years of data. Some of the studies on obese people go all the way back to the early 20th century. So we've got over 100 years of data. But this is the science they won't accept. They'll accept, 2 to 3 years of study on COVID, but they won't accept, over 100 years of studies on the dangers of obesity. It's just...
is putting you at risk for all-cause mortality, which is cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and just organ failures, like even the gallbladder is included in that too.
Not to mention orthopedic problems, which are huge.
What are some of your favorite studies that you've read that aim to research people who are, as you say, obese, so people who are overweight, who don't have organ failure, who don't have orthopedic issues?
𝗟cie, they don't have my favorite Fat is Healthy studies bookmarked on their browser because they don't exist. You can always find outliers that escape the odds, that beat the odds, but the vast majority of obese people get some sort of obesity-related health problem. My feet hurt. My legs would swell up. My knees hurt. I had sleep apnea. It happens. And your body is not so compartmentalized. If there's a problem in one area of the body, there's a problem in the other areas of the body. Fat itself causes a lot of inflammation, and inflammation is one of the chief causes of illness, from heart disease to cancer. So you think having over 100 extra pounds, and girl, you need to lose about 100 pounds, maybe more. And this is coming from somebody that needed to lose almost 200 pounds and is still in the process of doing that. You are a walking time bomb. That inflammation is attacking your organs. You're getting away with it now because you're in your 20s, but when you get to your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, that train is going to shift. And girl, I hope you get it under control before that happens, because I care about you and I want you to do okay. It's fine and dandy to love yourself, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't love yourself, because I think you are a very attractive woman. Absolutely. And I'm a lesbian, so that's coming from a source. I think you're a very attractive woman. Your attitude about this isn't so attractive, but you're an attractive woman. But that's not what this is even about. I'm not telling you need to go get hotter. I'm telling you need to get healthier. Okay? And I just wish that they had somebody on there that would confront you a little bit more.
What are some of your favorite studies and research that you've read exploring healthy fat people?
Well, nothing in medicine is 100%.
Sure.
So you're going to look at data and you're going to look at percentages. And when you look at people who are 40, 50 more pounds overweight, the statistics tends to indicate, and this is very well documented, that they run more problems. It doesn't mean that everybody who's overweight is going to have these problems, but the risk is much greater than a person who is at ideal BMI.
Well, body fat is inflammatory. So
Yes.
regardless.
Yes.
Inflammation, and inflammation is the root cause of all disease, regardless of what it is. And so it's important to look at the data in regards to that and really look at, okay, are you insulin resistant? Because insulin resistance can lead to dementia. They're calling dementia type 3 diabetes. And if you're insulin resistant now, then you're setting yourself up for things like dementia in the future too.
And anybody that's overweight or obese, especially at the size that she and I are obese, and her husband there, you're insulin resistance. That means your body constantly stores fat. It doesn't burn the fat. That's a metabolic problem. And the only way you can correct that is to correct your eating and move more. Your body will eventually get back into a rhythm if you start cutting the calories and taking in whole foods and really watching what you eat. Your body will correct that problem. But anybody that is that overweight has a serious problem with fat storage, and that leads back to insulin.
You wanted to say something?
My comment is to the young lady. I wish when I was as young as her, I had paid attention to the dangers. I'm the poster child of everything that can go bad because of...
It's going in one ear and out the other.
October 10th, I had a heart attack. I have diabetes, high blood pressure, no cartilage on both legs. I need 2 knee replacements. And health is important, and overweight is linked to more health issues.
There's no question about it. You wanted to say?
Yeah, so it's clear that all the numbers that all these studies people are bringing up, more people are becoming overweight, obese. That's clearly happening. I don't think anyone would disagree with that, right? I think it's important to look at, is that really an issue? And if that is an issue, what can we do to solve it? Not what can the fat people do to stop being fat, right? It's more about...
Fat people can stop themselves from being fat. We don't need big daddy government, which goes back to this whole woke bullshit, to come in and save us. We don't need the government to come in and say, oh, you can't eat candy, you can't eat processed food. We're going to like tax that to oblivion, just like they did with cigarettes. If people want to smoke, let them smoke. They're going to suffer the consequences. You can't depend on daddy government to solve it for it. You, as an individual, needs to get some responsibility in your life and watch what you put in your damn mouth, because that's what it all boils down to.
Can we...
Channeling my inner Alan Roberts today.
Community, what can we do to help people? I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional because I dealt with people constantly telling me I was fat. Guess who doesn't need to be told they're fat? A fat person. I'm telling you right now. I knew.
Then do something about it, like you did, obese to beast. You lost, what, 180 pounds? You knew you were fat, and you did something about it. You were the only one that did something about it. If you hadn't taken the personal responsibility to lose that weight, you'd still be fat, if not big. You'd still be almost 400 pounds, if not over 400 pounds. So would I. I'd probably be 500 pounds right now if I hadn't have taken up a piece of responsibility, because my wife couldn't do it for me. My mother couldn't do it for me. The government sure as hell can't do it for me. Only you can do it.
And so it was so frustrating to me to have people make fun of you, call you names, say, oh, you're going to die soon, yada, yada, yada. I knew, right? I knew what was going on. That didn't change the fact that I felt like I couldn't lose the weight. I felt like it was impossible for me. And so what I try and do as just a dude is I try and show people I was able to lose the weight. And if you want to, you can.
Your life is yours to live, and you're going to make the choices. I'm just saying, deal with reality. Deal.
Thank you, Dr. Phill. And that's where I'm going to end it. Dr. Phill, thank you for challenging them. I wish you had gotten somebody a little more pressing. I mean, Obese to Beast on there was great. I love Obese to Beast, but I wish you had also had somebody else on there that was really going to push her buttons and drive home the points, because she came out of this not changing her mind about anything. And it's probably going to take something calamitous to happen to make her do that. And that's really sad. Just like it does for a lot of people. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. This is a nice little bonus video. Let me know if I was too mean down below. I don't mean to be. This is one thing I get really passionate about. Of all the movements out there, this is the one I go at hard because it does hit very close to home, and I want people to take responsibility for their own lives and help themselves. And with that being said, until next time, Keto and Krime.